Hey everybody, and welcome to a short video. I always say short, who knows how long it'll go, but us just kind of talking about our initial thoughts on the Innsmouth Conspiracy. This is like 30 to 40 minutes after we finished Into the Maelstrom, so it's very fresh in our head. And I'm going to kind of just like facilitate the discussion as we go through this, but I want to just start initially, not even getting into like the flavor, the theme, the scenarios, but did you guys like the key mechanic? Did you guys like that kind of hunting the map for keys and then using them to unlock things?
I say yes, and I think I would have not liked it if they didn't have the little thing that told you what the keys were.
You did like that.
I loved that.
Yeah, that was a great addition to it.
It was.
Yeah.
I think I'd feel like they were just like another bit in the game if they didn't have that. But it really made them like part of the campaign.
Yeah, also there's massive spoilers throughout this whole thing, so if you haven't played it and you want to, don't watch this video. Like especially in that last one where they thematically also like did something in the locations, like the purple one was at the key for the vault. Like that was cool. What about you, Brandon? Have any, apart from Travis being the key master?
So,
The first couple.
they did not implement some sort of mechanic like this, we would have been, because in previous previous scenarios, we've seen things that are not entirely dissimilar, but it's usually like, did you get all the clues from this location? Cool, then you can go into that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And I think this is a better way to do that, and an
Yes.
easier way to keep track of what you have done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As opposed to like, frantically checking over the map, and maybe you've collapsed some of it because the map's so real big sometimes.
Yeah.
You need some more space, and you don't ever intend to play there again.
I'm going to just say something quick before, because I want to talk about that map too. One thing, I imagine that the designers wish they had the keys from the beginning in the core, just so they had like a tool they could use throughout scenarios when needed.
Yeah.
The maps were huge. Like
Some of them.
Some of them were.
A big thing for us is because we record. It's always a little stressful for me, but the ones that were biggest, like the ones where you're walking through Innsmouth with all of the barricades, wasn't complicated. It looked worse than it was.
Yeah.
And then also the lighthouse one was also pretty smooth too. I like that. That was also a huge map.
Yeah.
I really like the last one. The map for that one was cool.
Yeah. It felt, the way it was structured too, it felt like a city, which
Yeah.
was nice. What about the flooding mechanic? Did you guys like that?
It was like pretty irrelevant a lot of the time, but it was fine.
I think the one that it was the most relevant in was the first one, the Pit of Despair. Also because you were so scared of it, where you're like 5 direct damage. That's so much.
Well, yeah, we didn't know how fast things were going to fill up, and
Yeah.
like how many locations were going to start flooded. Whereas in the later scenarios, we're like, there's always going to be like one that we can go to.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's just jump from campaign as a whole. What do you think? Did you like it? Dislike it? Just your initial thoughts. For me, I did like it a lot. I'm big on the Innsmouth world. It was my favorite expansion for Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. I just loved going there, the whole Deep One stuff. I love Silas Marsh, even before this. And I think the story was actually really engaging, especially in the finale when you find out that like they were using you the whole time. I thought that was a neat little twist that you could also just miss if you suck. Luckily, we did not suck, so that was great.
Yeah.
I do think I don't think it's good as Dream Eaters, but I think it's like, I'm starting to like Forgotten Age more, and I think it's just like on there a little bit more for Forgotten Age for me. But it's not close enough to Dream Eaters or Carcosa to sit like anywhere close to them.
Yeah. Most of what I don't like about this one is we didn't get to play it when it was coming out, so Travis couldn't bring his Arkham 2nd Edition like Innsmouth look cards and be like, guys, we need these.
Yeah.
And we'd all be like, what are you talking about? Because we wouldn't have.
You wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know. We wouldn't have opened a copy of the game.
Nope.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
True disaster.
Yeah. I also would have liked to see like more use out of the Innsmouth look.
Yeah, I agree. Because there's only
That's
the
okay.
fish cards.
That's sad there was no reference to like Silas.
That's actually one of our commenters said the same thing, and I agree. There should have been, like, especially when they're talking about the Marsh family, and I'm just sitting here as Silas, like being like, well, no, like I don't know though. What are you talking about?
Marsh
That's
family. That
Tyler.
sounds like my last name,
But-
Marsh.
Because like Amanda Sharp's a Deep One, she's not connected to the Marsh family, but like Silas has like Deep One and history with the Marsh family, so
Yeah.
I wish there was more of that in it.
Yeah, like I also wish I liked it overall. It was definitely a good campaign for me. I'm not quite so high on Carcosa as you guys are, but or at least you are. I think that might be just because I play it so much. But we'll see with subsequent replays of this one. I do wish we had like another scenario just kind of in Innsmouth.
Yep.
I think that would have been nice.
We had two, and one of them we butchered. The first one, the Vanishing.
Yeah, like one's the Vanishing, and then the other one
In
In Too Deep, but that's not really Innsmouth. That's like you're not exploring Innsmouth. That one's a race.
Yeah, it's a race. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have like one more, like maybe in the present, where we're just kind of wandering around Innsmouth, and everyone is. This is kind of what the Vanishing of Elena Harper. I just wish the first half was longer. I guess.
Yeah. I do think as well that this one's going to have good replayability. There's a lot of things that'll change from playthrough to playthrough, so that's exciting, especially because we, as you can tell on this channel, we play them a lot. Even outside, we play it a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. Let's go just like general thoughts, quick through all the scenarios from the Remember. The Pit of Despair, do we like that one? I like that one as an opening one. It was very menacing and spooky.
Yeah, I think playing it a second time, it'll be like less good.
Yeah, I think that's
because
fair.
I know that I'm not actually going to drown.
Yeah.
It was a great opening to the campaign.
Unless things go very poorly. But like the first time through, that one was really good.
I think this one's also it's just it sets up such like the mystery of this one is really good, and the flashbacks is a great way of like piecing it together, and the flashbacks you find change the story as you go. Also seems pretty neat. I thought it was a good opening. I agree with you though, Bryn. I think it is going to be worse. But then that overconfidence is going to cause you to drown, and then you're going to get scared again.
There's one thing about the story I think is a little bit tough is because of the flashbacks. Like I know playing with my family, it's going to be a nightmare. I'm going to remind them every week what happened. And they're going to be like, "This happened." I'm like, no, that happened in the past.
Yeah, not the present.
And I think we would have struggled with the story would be a lot less coherent if you were playing it once a month as it came out.
Definitely. Oh yeah, that's an excellent point. If we were doing it like as the Mythos packs came out, we'd be like, Travis, what's happening?
I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Fish people.
It really does show how being able to play the whole campaign like in quick succession is much better than the Mythos pack release they had. So like Edge of the Earth is going to be nice to have a whole scenario, a whole campaign as one. The heck was that? I thought I heard like laughing from outside. I'm just going crazy.
Just a dog laughing.
The Vanishing of Elena Harper. We butchered this one.
This one kind of sucked ass.
Yeah. I do think, as Travis said, I don't know if it was on recording, but while we were setting stuff up, this is probably one of the harder blind playthroughs. Maybe only like Forgotten Age is harder because that one like literally just shoots you with a gun when you're on the ground. But like we just didn't get to play the second half of that scenario, which was a bummer because a lot of people hyped it up, and while being in Innsmouth was cool for me, I liked that flavor, and like I agree with Travis. I wish there was more of it. I feel like I didn't get to actually experience it because there was just so much chore upkeep.
Yeah. This one is like. So, if you watch us talk about scenarios, we don't like scenarios that force you to play a different game. Not like a different game with like Arkham Horror cards, but a different game, right? And this one is kind of just like, hey, you want to play Cluedo?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Not really, but that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I definitely would like more time to explore Innsmouth in this one, and there's something else I was gonna say about it. Oh yeah, we're talking like so the Forgotten Age, like as a first playthrough, it'll just like it's just hard when you don't know what you're doing, and it's very punishing. Whereas this one, if you don't know what you're doing, you just like if we had done poorly, we just would have like missed a third of the story.
Yes. Yeah.
Which then that's not fun to me. I would rather the game like punish me with trauma and stuff for playing poorly than take away part of the story.
Yeah. Cool. Next one is In Too Deep. This is the one with the barricades when you're running around Innsmouth. I like this one. I thought it was cool.
I thought this one was great, actually.
It was very stressful, like but a good stress, right? Like our decks weren't super powerful. Yeah. And like the barricade system looked really bad when we were setting it up. I'm like, this is going to be atrocious. But it plays very clean. Just like don't use the resource tokens like this said. Get something else. Use dice between them. It's just easier that way. Yeah. Nothing else is down. I just thought it was
I think that might be one of my favorites from the campaign.
Yeah.
Devil Reef. I liked this one. This is when you're in the boat going from island to island. I thought this one was also really good. I am, by the end of it, I was a little bit sick of the walking through underwater caverns, right? And like finding the tidal pool and being like, oh, this is the location from the first
This
one.
one is like a little tedious where you're like, I get in the boat and then I sail away and I can't get out of the boat this turn because I'm allowed to do it once per turn, but like I'll just wait till next turn, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Sometimes you're like, well, we gotta get everybody in the boat first. Or else I'll have to swim through the ocean. That sucks.
yeah. But you know, when you do it, you can say you've done it. I like the flavor of this one though. I think it mechanically the boat's probably going to be frustrating in the next one when you play it again, but
Yeah.
it's not the worst vehicle mission in my opinion in this campaign. Speaking of that, horror and high gear, I had like zero fun in this one. This one, when it was done, I did not like this one. And I think that's just because of the blind playthrough. I think it's going to be better the next time we play. That's why we don't review after one playthrough of the scenario. But I just did not enjoy this one at all the first time.
Yeah, losing the way we did was like a little frustrating. I'll admit that. But it also was like it fit the flavor, right? Like
Yeah.
we were in a hurry. We were trying to get away from guys in vans. We took a wrong turn. We got fucked up.
Yeah. And also, like, we did play this one wrong. So that also probably didn't help because,
Yeah,
like, the enemies were, like, on you right away. And then you're like, well, I'm done. But you're supposed to move at the end of the investigation phase.
Yeah.
So it's not really a fair dislike on my part. But on the initial one, I just, like, the story it tells is I like the idea of, like, Silas while driving, stabbing a guy on a motorcycle. Like, that paints a good image. But mechanically, I just didn't enjoy it.
I think design-wise, they did an excellent job of making it feel like a car chase.
Definitely.
That being said, we didn't really feel like pressure to go fast. We just kind of were like, well, we'll just like stop and get the clues and then keep going.
Yeah.
And even with that like garbage strategy, we still almost made it.
Yes, yeah.
So-
Anyway, moral of the story, guys, is don't turn your car off unless you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Light in the Fog. This one was my personal favorite of the campaign. I loved when he locked you in the bottom of the basement of the lighthouse and he was like chasing you around in there. It
Yeah.
felt like a horror movie. The prison mechanic, the capture, I imagine could get really annoying and tedious. But I just loved the feeling of that one. It told such a, when you were like he locks you and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, and it sucks that, you know, Osiris was kind of a pushover. Like, I wish he was a bit scarier and like you couldn't kill him the second half, but it was still, I really liked this one.
Yeah, like he locked us away one time and then we killed him and we were like, oh, okay.
And we killed him in the jail cell.
Yeah,
too,
we were just like, I guess we'll just play the game now.
Yeah.
Yeah. This campaign is also like pretty liberal with experience. You don't get to spend it all the time, but you get lots. So we had like
A lot.
we had some pretty neat stuff going on that you wouldn't be able to put together in a different campaign, like Dream Eaters maybe.
And Camp Hunch experience we had real quick. But this one did feel a little bit like just another water mission
Yes.
to me. But a lot of those kind of blurred together because they use the same encounter set for the underground tunnels.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What I don't like about this one is that they gave me 3 clues for free. I didn't work for them. I was bullshit.
I really actually like the last 3 on this one. I think they play, it's really, I mean, once again, there's still that problem, like kind of, because you look at it, right, you have the Pit of Despair, Devil Reef, Light in the Fog, Lair of Dagon, and Into the Maelstrom all use the tunnels. So, like, they're going to blend together. It's like being in the jungle,
Yeah.
which I can imagine making repeated playthroughs a little bit, samey. But they tell a good story, and I think that story does go well into Lair of Dagon. I liked the top half of it more than the bottom half, which makes sense. It was new.
Yeah.
We had like 42 experience that
Wow.
campaign.
Yeah, but
Is that including the
we had
7 we got
like
at the end, too? Wow.
we had like 21 after what was it, like scenario 3,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
after,
is kind of absurd.
yeah.
Normally you're struggling to put like 2 5-costed things into your deck by scenario.
Yeah, you have like
3.
12-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing well if you've done
Larry
Any-
Dagan.
Yeah, any thoughts on that one from you guys? I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed the first half more than the second because we weren't in an underwater
Yeah.
cave. But
Yeah, that's fair. That's something that I imagine will be like the improvement with the return to box.
Yes. Let's just
It's
be like,
gonna be
here's like 30
Yeah,
underwater.
here's like a pile of different underwater caves.
Yeah.
Like, shuffle them and take 3 out at random, or take out many out at random. Those are the ones you're playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
do wish.
I think that would that will make
The return, yeah, a lot better.
I do wish that they like had more of the church.
Yeah, I agree.
The church felt really small, and like when it boils down to, a lot of these scenarios are just like there is a small map, and then it is just the same underwater caverns over and over again. So
All right, final scenario, into the Maelstrom. As Travis says, it's a small map and then a big map. For a final scenario, I mean, like, we absolutely crushed it. Like, we were bullying the bosses
yeah,
in this one.
Yeah, we had what, like 7 turns to spare.
Yes.
yeah, we had like probably like 12-ish clues extra.
Yeah, but also in fairness, it's been a long time since we've sat down and just played piles of good cards.
Yes. Yeah.
Or even cards we wanted to play.
Or,
Yeah.
like I just got to choose all of our own cards. So I do expect those games to run a little better.
But we like absolutely slaughtered this one, man. It wasn't even close.
Yeah. I like the map. I like the feel. I like how scary it was on the first playthrough when we get there and everything's flooded and they just say unflood it, and it's like, that's a lot. That's pretty
That's
spooky.
a lot of things, man.
Yeah. In retrospect, it was easy. And honestly, I actually think the next time we come through, it's going to be harder because we're probably going to be like, we're untouchable. We're going to play like sillier decks, which will be nice. But a lot of people, like, I heard a lot of people saying that this one was like really hard. But I actually thought this scenario was like, not this scenario, this campaign was one of the easier ones. That might have just because I was playing a survivor that like wasn't scared of the Mythos deck, but
And like, so Silas is probably what, like one of the 5 best investigators in the game, if not like less. He's like really, really good. There's a lot of vaguely degenerate things you can do that it's like they won't remove this part because it's not that degenerate. Like the Eucatastrophe thing was stupid, and it's good that it's gone.
yes. But I mean, like, even now, just
But
like
even without that,
unrelenting,
yeah.
just
Unrelenting
drawing.
is like pretty.
Right.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Like daring was really good,
Yeah.
and unrelenting is just better.
Yeah.
Yeah, unrelenting basically takes away like the thing that your deck struggles with, right?
Yes, yeah.
Like your cards all cost nothing because they're survivor cards, and you're playing a big pile of skills. So what are you gonna do? Run out of cards? And unrelenting's like, no, I'll just have cards forever.
Yeah. It's gross. But
It's also like I don't like that card is super fiddly.
yes, I do agree.
It's awful.
Yeah. It's
Don't design more cards like that. That was awful.
just it's a little bit like, luckily we did find a workaround that, like, you know, was
Yeah.
like you
At
suggested
least-
it pretty
at least
quick.
Quicker.
Yeah.
It was like slightly worse for us because the first one you draw is like if there's like 7 of them in the bag, like you could have drawn that one anyway
Yeah.
if you pulled 3 out.
Yeah.
But it's quicker and easier, and in the end, that mostly means you're having more fun because you're playing more game as
Yeah.
opposed to playing let's fish through the bag again.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Any other thoughts on this? I'm excited to do the replay, just to, you know, try to actually solve that mystery in the second scenario and see if it's more fun if you don't just bomb it. But Yeah.
Yeah. I would have appreciated, I think, out of the second scenario, a little bit more heads up that
you
That
fail
was
if you
gonna
just
happen.
if you just botch it.
it's
Yeah.
something like that might happen because a lot of the scenarios where they're like, if you don't do this in time, it's just over. They usually give you a little bit of a warning where they're like, hey, you know, so if not everybody's here by the time the
Yeah.
clock counts down, anyone who's not here is going to be dead.
Yeah. Just warning.
Or what happened?
If
right?
if you
Something like
botch it, you're done.
that.
Go home.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which I admittedly I didn't read the cards, but I don't think it was there.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think it was either.
yeah.
I also wasn't a huge fan of the post epilogue, the last flashback, like 15 or whatever. We have to have all 14 memories. Like that didn't feel like we read through it after because we had 13 of them. But like it didn't feel. it just felt like we missed out on something. It didn't feel like you got something for doing well, you know? It's not like the Forgotten Age where you get to play a whole other scenario and play like an alternate ending. It's just kind of like, it's just, again, it's that issue where like they punish you by keeping bits of the story from you.
Yeah, and then like to expect a 100% batting rate to get that is a bit high, especially when it's just like a flavor text to like be like there's more. Mm-hmm. It's not like the one where like in it's not like the one in Carcosa where you can have that epilogue if you have the card in your hand, right? Mm-hmm. That like the hidden card at the end, or it's like a
or the one in the Circle Undone.
Which one's that one?
Where if like you're being hunted, you get to like make amends with the mist.
Yes, yeah, that stuff's a nice way of doing it. I think expecting like a 100% batting rate for getting all the flashbacks, mm-hmm. I agree, is a bit of a big ask.
Again, it's like it doesn't feel like something that you get like those other ones. They don't rely on you doing well; they just sort of happen.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas this one, they were like, "Yeah, do everything perfectly."
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool. Well. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Agree, disagree. We're going to be playing the next one pretty soon. Actually, probably at this time, too, our Forgotten Age playthrough is starting to come out on the channel. Return to, you can...
My God.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to start recording next week.
That's so far in the future.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, GG's.